In Units 1 and 2, we worked on asking and answering questions with question words, such as who or when, that require literal information to answer. In other words, these questions are considered right there questions that can be answered directly from the text. It is critical to understand what the question is asking and how to answer it. We're going to become automatic with these question words and learn exactly how to answer these types of questions at a mastery level. Turn to page 14 in your student books. We already talked about how skilled readers preview the text for text features, such as headings and graphics. Skilled readers also reread text slowly and carefully to gain understanding. They monitor their thinking while reading to be sure that each sentence and paragraph makes sense. Skilled readers also ask themselves and others questions about their reading. During the last 2 units, I explained the question words to you. Now it's your turn to review the question words with your partner. Work together to identify each question word and what its answer must contain. Let's practice the first one before you work in your partnerships. Ready? My turn. If the question asks who, your turn. Your answer must include. Now you're going to complete that chart using that same process with your partner. This time when we read Gemini the Twins, we will ask questions about the text. Doing this helps us understand what is important. We will also answer the questions that we ask, which should clear up misunderstandings about confusing text that you marked in Lesson 5. Turn to page 85 in your student books. Let's do what skilled readers do and reread Gemini the Twins with an eye on asking good questions. Remember what you do when you read. Your eyes need to track or follow the text while your pencil points to the words. While you're busy looking and pointing to text, your brain is busy looking for patterns and making meaning. While reading, be aware of questions that come to your mind and questions you want to ask others. Eyes ready? Pencil ready? Let's begin. Read that first paragraph. When you are finished reading, look up. Turn to page 104 in your student books. You're going to want to have a marker to be able to go back between the text and page 104. Think about the text. What questions do you have? What should your peers have learned about constellations during this section? Choose one question word to begin your question. Consider starting your question with who or what. Write the question on the page. Be prepared to answer your question orally. Now we will read the next section. Eyes ready? Pencil ready? Let's begin. You are going to read, what are constellations? When you are finished reading, look up so that we can go on. Turn to page 104 in your student books. Choose a different question word. Try using what or when. Write the question on the page. Be prepared to answer your question orally. It's time to continue reading. Eyes ready? Pencil ready? Let's begin. You are going to read, why did the idea of constellations begin? When you have finished reading, look up so that we may continue. Turn to page 104 in your student books. Choose a different question word. Try using how or when. Write the question on the page. Be prepared to answer your question out loud. Let's continue. You are going to read the ancient stories of Gemini. You will need to look up when you are finished reading. Turn back to page 104 in your student books. Choose a question word. Try using who or what for this question. Be prepared to answer your question out loud. It's time to finish the text. Eyes ready? Pencil ready? Let's begin. You're going to read look up. When you have finished, you will need to look up so that we will know we can move on. Turn to page 104 in your student books. Because this is a longer section, let's ask 2 questions using question words that you haven't used yet. Use where, how, who, or when for the questions. Try to create one question by using words from the heading. Write the questions on the page. Be prepared to answer your question out loud. Turn to pages 105 and 106 in your student books. Now we are going to answer other questions about Gemini, the twins, for more practice. Some of the questions may be similar to the questions you have already asked and answered. I want you to go ahead and tear out this page. Read each question. Identify and underline the question word. Use the question words poster or chart on page 14 to review the type of information required to respond to the question. Use text headings or other text features to locate the content needed to answer the question. Reread the section to retrieve information if needed. Use the question word to formulate a response. Provide exact text evidence to support your answer. Let's look at number 1. What is Gemini? What is our question word? So we are going to underline it. Since it's asking what, the answer must include an action or a name of a thing. I can combine the picture and the text to find the answer. The picture shows stars connected with imaginary lines that form 2 bodies with the brightest stars as their heads. On page 85, lines 2 and 3, it says, "The constellation Gemini is a sight to see. It has 2 very bright stars called the twins." The word "it" refers to the constellation Gemini in the preceding sentence. This is my text evidence. Now I will write my answer. I want to make sure that my answer is enough for me to look at and learn from, so I need to include part of the question in my answer. Share with your partner how to begin answering the question by using part of the question in your answer. I came up with Gemini is blank. Gemini is a constellation that includes two bright stars called the twins. Go ahead and fill in this answer on page 105. And your text evidence is going to be the constellation Gemini is a sight to see. It has two very bright stars called the twins, from page 85, lines 2 and 3. So you're going to write that underneath number 1 for your text evidence. Let's try the one with a partner. How were constellations helpful? What is the question word in this sentence? How do we answer a question that begins with how? Let's try this one with a partner without a sentence frame to help. Remember to put a part of the question in your answer and provide text evidence from the passage. If you need help with a sentence frame, I've put one on the board. Constellations were helpful by, and you're going to include a way that something is done. You will need to quote evidence from lines 10 through 14 of the passage. Let's try one more. Number 3, why did the idea of constellations begin? What is the question word in this sentence? How do we answer a question that begins with why? What's our word that we use to answer a why question usually? Let's start by rewriting the question into a statement. Try it on your own for a minute. What did you come up with? I came up with the idea of constellations began because blank. And I'm changing it from did begin to began so that I have the past tense form instead of a helping verb that's past tense and the main verb. So today I begin, yesterday I began. Go ahead and fill in for your sentence frame. And don't forget to find evidence in the text. Where can Gemini be seen? Number 4. What did different cultures have to say about the Gemini twins? Number 5. Number 6. How were Castor and Pollux alike? Number 7. What constellation is attacking another constellation in the sky? And number 8. Is the North Star a constellation? Are the twins a constellation? I want you to spend a few minutes answering these questions and providing the text evidence independently.